All right, let's do it live on a First Friday Miracle edition of Cleveland Browns Daily. I am merely Bo. He is the great Z. If you're out on the roads, kids, keep them at 2 and 10. Be careful.
Be
Flashers on. How was it for you driving over? Were you fine?
No. No. Yeah, terrible.
Awful.
I will say the further west I got, the better it was.
Sure.
But there was a stretch where it was couldn't see. I mean, people are hydroplaning here and they're hydroplaning there.
Yeah, it was a flat-out flash flood. Fact. I had several rivers.
Yeah.
The Danube and the River Thames going through my backyard. That was fun.
Danube, that goes through, is that like through Budapest?
Sure.
I feel like I'm looking for G-Man. I feel like he'd know that.
Nobody be ready?
Yeah, he'd know that right. G-Man, does the Danube go
run through Budapest?
I feel like where it's over in that. Maybe
like it.
Prague. It's either
Feels
Prague
like,
or Budapest.
Yeah,
but
feels like
Budapest
that
is
would
my
be
first.
right.
None of us were ready for that. We're currently scrambling.
You weren't
go.
on your
Easy
bingo
for sure.
card. You didn't have a Danube reference
I
in the
didn't
first
have
2
that
minutes of
down.
the show.
That's why people tune in.
I'm looking at him. He's like,
to
what
tell
did he
you.
say?
I'll tell you, we could.
Danube.
You never know where it's going to go.
Yes, it does, by the way.
Let's go.
The next level's next.
You said it. The head honcho says it on your desk. What a job out of us. What a great job.
Where's the great
There you
Cole?
go. I said this to Gibby and G-Man before we started the show. Dr. J was in here as well. I think that 3 or 4 days in April make me forget how bad this month sucks because it's a lot of this.
Dude, it's terrible until June, really.
Yeah, it is. March, like when you have kids, you got a spring break to look forward to. You get it. Maybe someday you get some early March good days that kind of sneak up on you. You're like excited about it. But then April, you just spend the entire month like thinking it's spring. Let's go.
No, but it's not.
But it's not.
And by the way, everything, as we've noted, is shifted the other way, which is why what used to be a snowy, beautiful, white Christmas December is now a snowy January into February. What used to be, and summer used to be kind of May through September, and now it's June through October.
Yeah.
It's just all
Shifted.
It's just shifted. It's shifted. Yes.
Yeah. This is tough. It's tough out there, kids.
Well, and today we have a heavy heart.
Yeah, we do. When you think about, I did not realize that he was even ill until I saw Maverick.
Oh, so you've never watched the documentary?
No,
Oh,
no.
man.
So
Should.
I did. The
In
passing of Val
retrospect, you
Kilmer we're
should.
talking about, and I'm told
Yes.
later in the program we'll rank some of his movies, and there's a lot of. He was a big. If you're our age, man, you're 40. He was a seminal part of my youth.
Oh, my God.
Between Top Gun, Willow, Willow was a monster show for me as a kid. Watched that a ton. Top Gun I've seen as much as anything.
I feel like we're going to end up ranking the movies now, so I'll stop. But
We
there
stop, yeah.
there are others.
There are.
There's even pre-Top Gun. One of my favorites of him is a pre-Top Gun film. Yeah, he's incredible. I saw something today that said that he was only on screen for 10 minutes in the original Top Gun.
I saw that as well.
I mean, so that just tells you you couldn't even imagine that movie without him.
No, and I'm not. These are two very different roles, but I think in terms of impact on movie, it's similar to like Hopkins in Silence of the Lambs, who was only on for like a dozen minutes or something like that in Silence of the Lambs. Like, it's just such a small bit, but it's so critical.
Yeah.
He
You got to
didn't
watch
wanna-
this documentary.
He didn't want to do the movie.
He didn't want to do Top Gun?
No.
I
He
didn't know
thought
that.
Top Gun was stupid. He thought the
Really?
script, he goes,
Well-
he purposely tried to fail the audition, and then they casted him.
They cast him. Ted Kaczynski.
He is. You got to watch the documentary. 'Cause
I
you'll
will,
learn,
yeah.
You'll learn a great deal about him, and it's sad, obviously as well. But like that, his real love, and I'm actually bummed now in retrospect. And I thought this at the time when I watched the documentary because I think it had come and gone already by the time that I'd watched the documentary. But he did a one-man play as Mark Twain, and that was like his passion project.
That was it.
That was
to
it.
do that.
So you'll watch the documentary. It's
And then
very
you'll-
cool.
Yeah.
It's very sad, but it's also very cool. Like I mean,
Didn't his kid do it? His kid put it together
I think that's right
because
yeah.
he basically recorded everything.
Yeah,
because they kind of knew.
yeah.
It speaks
But
to.
it goes back to there's stuff. There's footage, lots of footage.
I think the other thing is when I went to Maverick the first weekend. Mm-hmm. I was down in Columbus at the IMAX, and I watched it in IMAX down in Columbus. I was down at the Memorial Tournament, and it was so new that there were some whispers that he was in it, but I didn't know.
And Cruise demanded that
Yes.
scene happen.
Yeah.
And thank God he did.
Thank God he did, because it was it was as satisfying a scene as you're going to have, and as satisfying a sequel as maybe that's ever been made. It's
a perfect movie.
It really is a perfect movie. It's
perfect.
I agree with you. And to put that scene in there and demand it, and the way they executed it with the typing,
Yeah. It's incredible.
it's unbelievable. And the whole thing, they just crushed it.
Because then it's a mix of it's where in this it's a mix of real and art. But
Yeah.
I mean, it is. They have a great affection for each other. That's real. The way he had to communicate, that was real. That was born out of necessity.
Mm-hmm.
It was incredible, powerful.
And did they CGI his, like they've amplified his voice? Because he could at that point, because that was filmed in like 18 or 19 and didn't come out until 22, I think. But
I think he was
filmed
able to
before COVID, and Cruise like held it. He's like, we're not going. You're going to wait till theaters on this. We're not dropping it on somebody's television on a streaming platform, Paramount. Like, it's going to air
Yes.
in the theaters, and he held it. I think for 2 years.
Yeah.
I think it was done in like 19, and then they used some sort of technology to amplify what little voice he
to
had.
make it louder.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, powerful stuff. When I do follow you on social, and I saw your post this morning, and because you didn't come out and say, you were just like, I was a big Val Kilmer guy,
Yeah, man.
and I was as well, but you didn't. I don't know that from your post you out and out said that he had passed, but as soon as I read your post, I'm like, oh man.
Oh, that was the first you.
The
Was
first-
the first you saw of it was that.
Yes.
Oh wow. Yeah. So when I woke up this morning, my intent on my morning show was to do something different than what I was going to do, and then I ended up doing what we're doing, which was talk about it. Because by the time I was up at 6, it had been known, it had been corroborated, and it was like, oh, okay. Well, this is all anybody's talking about today, and rightfully so. And he had a stretch. He has a stretch with it's Top Gun in 86, Real Genius is 85. So it's 85 to like 97. It's like a 12-year run where he's as A-list as can be.
100%.
And most of the choices, like I did not love the movie The Doors. I didn't love it, but he was Jim Morrison. I mean,
I loved that movie.
And now I haven't seen it since I
And
was
I
a
grew up in
kid,
a-
so I don't know if I
Also-
would appreciate it differently now. I don't know. I haven't seen it since I was a kid.
Our fathers may be very similar, but I have a hard time believing that you
No.
grew up listening to the Doors in your house all the time.
If the name of the movie that he was in as a biopic was The Highwayman, then perhaps I would have seen it. But
Okay.
I'm not. No, The
No.
Doors was
So
not.
so you have to understand, like, I went into it with like a great affection for the Doors already because that was my dad loved the Doors.
Pedro is a conundrum wrapped in a mystery.
Pedro is like
What a unique.
an anti-authority hippie as a young
but
person.
but then
Yesterday he was on an incredible heater.
it's inverted.
You have-
Became inverted.
There may have been 1,000 texts after we left yesterday that were
Just
unbelievable.
peppering you?
Yeah, just unbelievable. So no, he is a conundrum in that regard. But yes, huge Doors guy. So I went into that loving the Doors, and I watched that. I was obsessed with that movie. Loved that movie. He is unreal. He got in trouble with a lot of people on the cast and on the set because it was really before people were like okay with like what Daniel Day-Lewis does from a method acting.
Yeah.
So he wanted to be called Jim on the set, and people that like rubbed people the wrong way. Like, he's trying to be Jim Morrison. Just let him be. And by the way, you watch it, and he is Jim Morrison. Here's another thing that I don't know if everybody knows this. So if one person didn't know this, I'm happy to share it with you. He did all of the vocals in that movie himself.
Really?
And was so good that they would play some of the tracks of his vocals to the members of the Doors that were still alive, and they found it difficult to distinguish when it was Jim Morrison and when it was Val Kilmer. So think about the talent to be able to do that is incredible. So that's one, to me, that's one of his
wild.
incredible fun facts. So yeah, he sang, that's all him singing, obviously it's him dancing, but all of him singing, and he was so spot on with Jim Morrison that members of the original Doors could not tell his vocals apart from Jim Morrison's, which is, I think, it just mind-boggling, honestly. And then in Heat, in the big shootout scene, the way in which he's over the car, comes down, reclips, comes back up, apparently was shown to Army Rangers as the way to, as like textbook of how to fire, get cover, load your clip up, and go back to firing in like a high leverage combat situation. The scene from Heat.
That
So like he
is that
did
a movie
so
that
well.
enough people have seen?
No. Cleve TA hasn't seen it. Said it today. Cleve
Heat?
TA, watch it. Heat.
G-Man, have you seen Heat?
No way.
Have you seen Heat?
Dr. J?
No.
Dr. J has.
Wow,
G-Man,
Dr. J.
Let's go, Dr. J. G-Man is not. Heat's unbelievable.
That's the one scene is
I think
up there
I'm
with
gonna find
anything
out.
you'll see.
I'm not sure Miss K's seen it, and if she has not, I told her we're watching. Well, we'll get into the rankings and then that'll make it clear which movies we're watching. But we got to watch something.
Do you think so I saw The Doors in high school. I don't think I've seen it
Oh, dude.
since.
Yeah,
The
it's worth a
Doors is
rewatch.
amazing.
It's incredible. When you think about the fact that I just gave
Yeah,
you,
that's
and then
pretty
watch the
wild.
performance, he's unreal. It's got a lot of good stuff in it too. For a
There are actors
young
and someone from Tombstone said, "What was it like working with Val Kilmer?" And the person said, "I was on set with Val Kilmer for a week. That's all the interaction we had." He goes, "I never met Val Kilmer. I only met
Doc
Holiday.
Holliday.
I met Doc Holliday. Like he never, from the moment he was on set, he was never Val Kilmer. He never talked like Val Kilmer. Like everything was Doc Holliday."
I think it's one of the most incredible performances ever. Him in that.
Dude, when he's in the
It's staggering what he pulls off in that. The humor, the charisma, the sickness, all of it.
when he's in the
crazy.
saloon, and what's the guy's name? Johnny Ringo.
Johnny Ringo. Wow,
Johnny
Johnny
Ringo.
Ringo.
Johnny Ringo.
So Johnny Ringo stands there with Powers Booth
Right.
sitting right to his right, looking formidable, and Russell's in there. They're all in there
Yep.
on his side of things too. And Johnny Ringo does his whole gun thing, and then he does it with like a
cup.
a saucer, like a tea saucer, is just incredible. And even
Amazing.
somebody had put that clip up today, so I watched it.
I think that's the one I tweeted out was the part of that.
Did you?
clip, yeah.
Okay. The look on Powers Booth's face when this is going on is incredible because
It
he's
is.
trying to be like he is Johnny Ringo's kind of like second, I guess, in that.
Well, he's
scene.
the one. He's actually the one. Curly Bill's the leader at that point.
Yeah, he's
Ringo's
the guy.
number 2. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying like
Yeah.
he's on that side of
Yes,
the equation.
he's on that side, yeah.
and you can tell he is quite enthralled and amused with what he's seeing from
amazing.
Doc Holliday.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it is crazy how I had forgotten how they were able to either through makeup, and I know he lost a bunch of weight for the performance, but to really make him look like sickly and clammy and like pale,
Yes.
but still quite formidable.
and so like to fight through that and still have all the charisma and all of that.
Yeah.
And, there was actually 2 Wyatt Earp movies that year. There was 2. Then there was Wyatt Earp, which was a Kevin Costner
Correct.
vehicle. Dennis Quaid played Doc Holliday in that, and actually did a pretty good job. But they came after,
Yeah,
and there was no going back. Like
That's
once you saw Tombstone, there was no going back to another version of Doc Holliday. That was the only one.
that was the era though where they were doing that like every
Yeah.
year. They would make 2 versions of the exact same movie.
Yeah.
and you're like, why?
What are we doing here? Yeah, they nailed it.
Yeah,
don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Yeah.
I saw this from Jennifer Tilly, the actress. She goes, a long time ago, I was auditioning for the movie The Doors. It was kind of a cattle call. They paired together potential Jims with potential Pamelas. They were running behind, so we were spilling out of the casting office, sitting on the porch, the lawn, the driveway. All of a sudden, a 60s convertible came screeching up, blaring Doors music at top volume. A guy jumped out, strode inside. He had wild hair. He was barefoot, shirtless, wearing nothing but a pair of tight leather pants. We all looked at each other and like, who is this guy? We were more than a little shocked by the sheer audacity of his entrance. Well, of course, it was Val Kilmer, and from that moment on, nobody else stood a chance. Rest in peace, King. So there you go.
Jennifer Tilly, by the way,
She was.
incredible.
I don't know what she's been. I haven't seen her in 20 years, probably.
So I'm going to tell you.
Oh, you know where she is.
Oh yeah, yes, I do. So she's made a ton of money. I mean, a ton of money from like Chucky, from all those movies.
Yeah.
And then I think she may have had a divorce where she did well as also. She showed up on the most recent season of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Really?
And was like my favorite person on the show.
Well, yeah,
because I
she
watched
would be.
in the periphery, obviously, but yeah, she's great. She's doing great. Looks
She's
great.
punching
She's-
way down on that. Like her acting chops, playing herself or an amplified version of herself on that has got to be. She's
Well, you
gotta
have like
just-
her, Garcelle Beauvais.
Oh, so it's
There's
actresses.
some like, well, some,
Okay.
but there's some like, yeah, there's some legit folks on there. I mean, Kathy Hilton's on it. Of the Hiltons.
Is she really?
Yeah. Kyle Richards. It's an interesting show, but yeah, no, she's that's where she's been. So I saw her and she's hysterical. I mean, she doesn't need to play an amplified version of herself. She's
Her
a
own
unique
self is
person.
plenty.
And then what? She has her sister is Meg.
Yeah.
Was there Jennifer Tilly and Meg Tilly?
Yeah.
They're both
Oh yeah.
strong.
Yeah. Big parts. All right, so we'll have some
Formidable.
fun with the great Val Kilmer and some of his movies a little bit later on
Yes,
in
we
the
will.
program. From the league meetings, according to Falcons head coach Raheem Morris, the Falcons are willing to trade quarterback Kirk Cousins if it's good for him and the club per multiple reports. I think we know that.
Well, they've said this now.
They're willing this.
And now clearly they got to Arthur Blank because the owner's saying it as well when the owner was originally saying, no, he's playing here. There are reports literally maybe on Monday
Yeah.
that were saying that he's like, no, I'm paying him all this money. He's staying here. So look,
There are only these are the teams that do not have quarterbacks. As current now we have Kenny here, but we have a one-man quarterback room. Pittsburgh has Rudolph, Skylar Thompson, and feels like Aaron Rodgers. And the Giants have
Jamison Russ.
Jamison Russ. That's right. That happened when I was away. I forgot
Yeah,
about
Giants
that.
have
Russ
Jameis
too.
and Russ.
And Russ. So they got that whole room.
Tennessee's the
So,
only
like,
team that doesn't have a quarterback. They have Will Levis.
so Tennessee's it. So it's us and Tennessee and Pittsburgh.
But nobody's talking about Kirk Cousins in Tennessee.
No, they're not. I think they're taking Cam. I mean, right? I mean,
What
that's
an it's. We have known though. What is interesting about this one to me is, in the past we talked about the combine, and you said it's liars, but we've come out of the combine always knowing what was what.
We've always
We
come out of the combine. There were at least 3 or 4 certainties. We've talked about these many times that we come out of the combine and go, okay, the Chargers are taking Herbert. Like that's known. The Cardinals are taking Kyler. It is known.
Caleb last year, not a
year.
question.
Yeah.
Daniel Dimes to the Giants was
Yes.
not a question. The great Holly Sandy, everybody. There she is. There she is.
Lovely.
Yes. But when we left the combine, 2 things were known. Mm-hmm. Thing one was Tennessee was not taking a quarterback,
Nope.
and we were.
That's right. No matter what, we're taking one at 2. Browns are taking a quarterback at 2. Adam
Because,
Schefter.
quote, Adam Schefter, because, quote, they have to.
They have to. Yeah. Fact.
And now we sit here and it feels a lot like Tennessee is going to take a quarterback and that we are not. I, speaking for myself and myself alone,
You can speak for me.
I'll speak for you as well. For us, we. Thanks, Goose.
That's a nice homage.
Thank you. We hope that tomorrow in Boulder, Colorado,
Gorgeous this time of year.
there is a wowing. And my first choice for the wowing would be Shador, where we like, what are we?
What's the problem?
He fits this offense perfectly. Mm-hmm. There are enough people. There are some people that think he's a second-round quarterback, no doubt. There are enough people that think he is much, much better than that.
You saw Feldman's draft today?
No, what did he have?
Do we have that later in the show?
No, because he's going to join us tomorrow.
There you go. All right.
There you go.
So Feldman's draft has Shador going 3 to the Giants and us with Abdul Carter.
So, but his annual draft is strictly what coaches in college football have told him about all of these prospects.
Right. Well, they ought to know.
Well, and by the way, we ought to know.
Yeah. As we've said many times.
Pat Shermer was OC. Kevin Stefanski was the quarterback coach. They know each other very, 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 very well. So I want Shador to wow them, and because that's the path out of this. That's number one. Number two, if not, I'd like Travis Hunter to wow us, and I'd like Travis Hunter to wow us as a wide receiver, where it's like we have to have this
weapon.
guy. So if I told you.
Ooh, look at that. I like a good straightening of paper. Well, what happened on the tear off here?
Bad tear off.
Sad.
It was
Hate to
deep
see it.
into the.
Oh, deep, and you had over, and you were trying to get a middle.
It's hard.
Yeah, it's tough. I hate that.
If I were to ask you,
All right.
you have the choice
Okay. Choice.
to have an 83% chance to make the playoffs,
Okay.
or you have a 65% chance to make the playoffs. Which would you choose? Both good, by the way.
State school, but higher or lower, I can figure out, and higher chance 83 is a higher number than 65, therefore 83.
So 83, to put in perspective, is really 5 out of 6. 63 is not quite 2/3. So it's not quite.
On the cusp of 2/3.
But not quite. So not even quite 4 out of 6.
No.
Not quite. What are those numbers, you may be asking yourself?
Oh, baby. Mr. Z, what are those numbers? Which I think
This
that's
is
what
a
all my
very
kids call you, by the way.
simplistic. They call me what?
Mr. Z.
Mr.
Oh,
Z, yeah.
NBC goes, Mr. Do you have Mr. Z look at my swing? I said, yeah, he did. He's got some tips for you. He's like, oh, that's great.
I love it. So over the last 5 seasons in the National Football League, and this is a remedial way to do this, a very basic way to do this nonetheless, but I think it proves the point that I wanted to make.
Okay.
So I went back to 2020 because that was the advent of 7 teams in each conference making the playoffs.
Okay.
So all I did was simply, by conference, I sorted points for. So the top scoring teams per conference.
Points scored.
Okay?
Yep.
In 2024, in the AFC, 6 of the 7 teams that were amongst the top 7 scorers in the conference made the playoffs.
Wow.
Cincinnati was the one that was in that did not make the playoffs, so it really should have been 7 of 7. Houston was the one that was out that did make the playoffs. Now they won their division.
Yeah.
In the year 2023, in the AFC, 6 of the 7 top scoring teams in the AFC made the playoffs. Indianapolis was the one team in the top 7 that did not. By the way, had the running back caught a swing pass from Gardner Minshew,
Yeah.
they do make the playoffs.
Yep.
Pittsburgh was the one team not in the top 7 that made the playoffs. In the year 2022,
Okay.
in the AFC, 6 of the 7 teams that were the top scorers
God.
in the conference made the playoffs. The one exception of a team that scored but did not was Las Vegas, and Baltimore in 2022, believe it or not, was not a top 7 scoring team but did make the playoffs. 2021, down year. 5 of the 7 teams that were the top scorers made the playoffs. The Chargers and the Colts were in the top 7 in scoring. Both did not make the playoffs. That Chargers team absolutely should have. And Las Vegas and Pittsburgh did make the playoffs despite not being top scoring teams. And then in the year 2020, 6 of the 7 teams in the AFC that were the top scorers made the playoffs again. Las Vegas scored but did not make it. The Browns were 8th in scoring, and the Browns did make the playoffs in 2020. So
Jeez, man.
that's 29 of the last 35. You go to the NFC over that same time period, it's also 29 out of 35.
Jeez.
On the defensive side, still good. Having a good defense, still, yes, it does matter, but not as much. In fact, over the same time period in the AFC, 68% of the teams that finished in the top 7 in defense made the playoffs. In the NFC, it was 61% that made the playoffs. The NFC actually in 2021, 7 of 7, the top 7 scoring teams all made the playoffs. Defensively in the NFC, it was 4 out of 7, 4 out of 7, 4 out of 7, 5 out of 7, 5 out of 7. In the AFC, last year was 6 out of 7 defenses made it. Miami was the one that did not. Houston was the one who was in. Then 5 out of 7, 4 out of 7, 4 out of 7, and 4 out of 7. So, while yes, having a good defense is important, in many cases, there are teams that double up on both.
Yeah, right.
But it is clear there is a greater correlation between scoring offense and making the playoffs. And I can take it a step further and we go into who wins in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Correlates with offense. Who wins Super Bowls correlates with offense. For example, in the year 2021, Cincinnati, which was not in the top 7 in defense, but was top 7 in offense, guess what? They went to the Super Bowl. They
That's
won
right.
The AFC. Same with that year, the Super Bowl champions, the LA Rams, were not in the top 7 in the NFC in defense, but you better believe they certainly were on offense. So there is clearly a correlation in the National Football League that is, I think, beyond statistically significant. That if you are a top 7 scoring team in the conference, you have an 83% chance of making the playoffs. Full stop. Yes, you still have a good chance for your top 7 defense, but it's not as good.
Not as good. No.
And it is an offensive league. Last year, AFC, NFC in scoring, 6 of 7 made it. And last year, on average, 5 of 7 made it from the defensive side. The year before, it was 6 of 7 and 4.5 and 7. The year before, it was 6.5 and it was 4. The year after that, it was 6 and 4.5. So it is. We're talking. That's a big number out of a small sample
5
size.
years of data here, buddy. Like
Yes.
it's quite a bit. This is more than a trend. Like this is what is. Like that's
Yes.
long enough. That's enough sample size to say this is where it is. There are no. Go ahead.
There's not been a season in the last 4 seasons in which a conference has sent more top defenses to the playoffs than top offenses. Not one.
Not
top
once,
offense
never happened.
every single time, and the average margin is basically 2 more teams from offense than defense. So that gets back to my original point, which is what we hope we're wowed by there. And I know people, there's a lot of defense wins championships. Folks, it's 2025. It is not the same league. Now, the Eagles, were they the number 1 defense last year? Yes, they were. They're also darn good on offense and had Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts. And pretty sure in the playoffs they were scoring 40, 50.
Yeah.
Pretty sure in they had a game in the playoffs where they had more rushing touchdowns than the Dallas Cowboys had all season. We were the number 1 defense the year before,
Yep.
and we did not even win a playoff game. It's an offensive league. We have been given an opportunity here with the second pick to either take the best quarterback on the board, take the second best quarterback on the board, or the best offensive player on the board. We were the, what was it again? Worst offense in the National Football League. Lowest scoring team in the NFL. And now, as you can see, it is very difficult. The converse of this is if you want to make the playoffs and you can't score, first of all, if we went bottom 7, it's probably nil.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Houston was not a bottom 7 offense. So there's only one team a year on average in the AFC in the last 5 that will make the playoffs that wasn't a top 7 scoring team in the conference.
And how many of those are teams that won their division?
And that's the other part. Many. So you had, for example, some of the outliers that made the playoffs in the NFC. You had twice Tampa Bay made the playoffs in 2020 and in 2022 with losing records because they won their division.
Because they won the division.
So they were not in the top 7 in scoring.
So that takes
that
even more.
Changes it. You have to score. You have to score. That's the NFL today. You have to score. And so if you're the Cleveland Browns, which we are, that's why in my mock drafts, and I will continue to do it, and if I were able to do it, I'm only drafting offense at the beginning. We can play a defense right now.
We could go right now on defense. We could put a starting defense on there right
That is-
now that's competitive, top half of the league. Do it
Yes.
tomorrow.
Not on offense.
No. It doesn't. No. I
So-
think there is a. I think at times there is a almost like a time has stood still feeling from the people who cover the team, the people who talk, even people, not even just us, just around the league.
Yep.
But I notice it here too, like this, oh, you can win that way. You can't. A lot has changed since Trent Dilfer and the Baltimore Ravens in the early 2000s. A great many of things have changed. You have 5 years of data here. You look at where we are offensively. That's why you and I have been saying weapons. Every pick. For a while, draft a quarterback at 2, draft another one in the 3rd round. Like you
Fine.
have to do that in order to win. It's the only way. There is the concrete ceiling on an elite defense and a porous offense is finite. You are not boring through it. You're going to hit it and you're going to fall right on your face.
Here's the thing. Folks, you're talking about, oh, we're going to shut down, Burrow and Lamar Jackson. The gap in terms of points scored between us and the Ravens last year, 260.
That's the difference.
They scored 260 more points than we did last year.
My God.
The Bengals scored 214 points more than we did. Okay? Now this is going to really hurt you. We scored 258.
Is that an average of 15 a game more? 260 more, right? That's
260
Out of 17.
We'll do that real fast here for you.
it's like 15. Is it around
Yeah.
15?
260 divided by 17. 15.2. By the way, not to mention the fact
That's
that the
two
Ravens scored.
touchdowns more average per game.
They doubled us. They doubled our scoring. We scored 258, which if you double it is 516. They scored 518. They doubled. They
Doubled
more
it.
than doubled our points.
Yeah,
That's what we're competing with, folks.
that's who you're up against, man.
You want to win the Super Bowl. Who are the best teams in the league? Baltimore, Buffalo, obviously Kansas City. Kansas City last year did not score a ton. They scored only 385, which is still 130 more than us, more than a touchdown per game more than us. But Buffalo was at 525. Baltimore was at 518. Bengals 472. Those are the top three in the league. And then you had the Broncos at 425, who, by the way, made the playoffs. Those are the top four scoring teams in our division. Many people thought Baltimore, Buffalo one of those two should have come out of our conference. They did not. On the other side, remind me who was in the NFC Championship game, Bo?
That would be the Eagles. Commies?
That's right.
Yeah, Jaden. Number
So-
2 pick overall. Good job to you, Gibbe.
Commies scored 485. Eagles 463.
Jeez.
The only teams that scored, the Lions scored 564 and were the number 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
The Bucks scored 502, but they have the problems that we have talked about there. You've got to score in this league to win. And by the way, all of those teams that I just mentioned, all playoff teams.
Every one of them.
All playoff teams. You
can't
had
scheme it up.
You had in the league last year, let me just real quick, Buffalo, Baltimore, Cincinnati, and by the way, Cincinnati, I know they didn't make the playoffs. Say, what you did? Nobody wanted them in the playoffs.
There wasn't anybody in the AFC that wanted them getting in.
Nobody.
Nobody.
So I'm talking teams that scored 450 or more last year. So Buffalo, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Philly, Washington, Detroit, and Tampa Bay. So of those 7 teams, 6 made the playoffs. 3 of the final 4 are from that list,
yeah.
and so is your Super Bowl champion.
And the other one is Detroit, who
Which was the 1 seed.
The 1 seed, yeah. And just got bludgeoned with injuries.
Yeah. I mean,
Folks, sometimes it is that simple. It just is. Like, the game has changed.
the rules.
The rules have changed. Everything is done to promote offensive football. It is harder and harder to stop. The jobs now of a defense is honestly what our defense is, which is to create a handful of game-changing opportunities per game to either get off the field or have a sudden change via a turnover or a strip sack fumble. That's the job of a defense. Defenses do not stop great teams. They don't. You get one stop. You need one stop in a quarter. You need a critical stop at the end of the second quarter. You need a big stop in the fourth quarter, potentially. You need one turnover. That's what defense's jobs are. It is not anymore, let's run it into the middle, let's punt, let's play field position games. It's
do it.
over.
You can't
It's
do it.
2025. It's done.
The year before.
It's done.
The year before, the highest scoring teams, 2 of the 3 highest scoring teams in the NFC were the Lions and the Niners. They met in the NFC Championship game. In the AFC, your highest scoring teams, you had the Bills, you had the Ravens. Ravens lost in the AFC Championship game. So again, 2 years in a row, the 4 top scoring teams, 3 of the 4 were in the Final Four. The exception has been Kansas City, who has been kind of chilling as a moderate offense.
But they have a
Go
unicorn,
back.
and they have a wizard at quarterback.
Yeah, and then-
and so
But you go back, and they were
Yeah, and
obviously
they were lights out.
in 2022. Yeah, it was they won the Super Bowl, and they were the top scoring team. The Niners in 2022, the two teams that scored 450 or more, Chiefs and Niners, were the Super Bowl. Like, it just, and the Eagles, who scored 470, that was the Super Bowl. The Eagles scored. So like, you're talking about every single year.
Yeah.
The number of teams should be looking at to win is, can we score
it's
450?
It's 450. What does that equal out to over 17?
26.5.
Yeah, 4
So
touchdowns.
can we-
You need 4 red zone scores.
That
you
is,
need 3 of them to be
that's the
touchdowns.
path. That's the path.
Yeah. If you're not there, then forget it. You're nothing.
No. The idea that we're going to be like the team that's going to grind it and win 17-14, it's too hard. And the Ravens scored more than double the points we scored last year. Mm-hmm. And we have the number 2 pick in the draft. So to me, the idea, and people are like, oh, well, you're nuts. The idea that we would draft a defensive player second overall is, to me, we is a little bit wild. It's a little bit wild to me. We have issues. And you can't just draft for need. Dude, we're picking second.
Yeah, you can.
We can get the best offensive player in this draft.
Yeah.
Or the second best quarterback.
One of the two. That feels like a win.
That feels like a win, dog.
And honestly, it's the only way to win.
Yes.
Everything else
you
is...
have to score. It's too hard. And, of course, in a one-off game like the Super Bowl, by the way, both Super Bowls that Kansas City lost, they were dominated up front. Mm-hmm. But I think people also forget.
By the way, you were talking about, how did you start that? You said in the Super Bowl.
In the Super Bowl.
Be fun to get there.
I'm talking about just over the course of time.
Like you're talking about playing in the ultimate game in a one-off against a team that's won 3 of them. The 2 times they've lost is they've been blitzed up front.
Yes.
That's what you just lined out.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we're in the Super Bowl and a team's able to get to our quarterback because their defensive line is so elite, we'll deal with those problems when we get there.
By the way, you want to know
those are first world problems.
You want to know the scoring of the Eagles in the playoffs?
Go ahead.
22, 28, 55, 40. 22, 28, so that's 50.
Yeah.
55 is 105, 145 in 4 games. 145 divided by 4, 36 points a game they averaged. So, yes, they were the number 1 defense, but they were a juggernaut on offense. The Commanders, who made it farther than people expected, they went 23, 45, and then 23.
By the way, with the rookie quarterback who was picked second overall.
Here's another one for you. Okay, you say, you want to know what the average score of a winning team in the playoffs was last year? This is last year. The average score of a winning team.
Go.
I'm going to have to do a calculator here.
Go ahead.
To get an average, but I'm going to do it by a game. So we've got 32, 28,
okay,
31, 22, 23, 27, 23, 45, 27, 28, 32, 55, and 40. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 games. Oops. 31.8 points per game. Not a single team won a game in the playoffs last year without scoring fewer than 22 points. Mm-hmm. Not a single game.
Not one.
Not one.
Yeah.
Not one.
No one's grinding out 17-14 wins.
You need to score the football. And right now, we are the worst scoring team in the NFL. I'll even go back a year before. 45, 26, 24, 48, 31, 32, 34, 24, 31, 27, 34, 17. That was the conference championship between the Ravens and the Chiefs. 25. So one game in the playoffs the year prior below where the winning team scored fewer than 24 points. And there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games where they scored 30 or more. It's a scoring league. We need to be doing everything that we can do in our power to make sure that we can score the football.
I think
ignoring that is crazy.
I think what you just did there is similar to what Cruz did to Nicholson in The Firm, and at the end when he goes, "The witness has rights." There's nothing else that needs to be said. All those people saying pick defense, the witness has rights. Jack, get your guy. Get the MPs. Take him out of the courtroom. It was so comprehensive, and the data that backed it up proves the things that we've been talking about for months.
It's not anecdotal.
No, it's not anecdotal. It's far more than that. Good job out of you. Those are your hot topics today, presented by University Hospitals, official healthcare partner of your Cleveland Browns. Go around the league coming up next. We are, off and running. Cleveland Browns Daily, presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Add more fun to your fan with the Bally Bet Sportsbook app. Download today, get 50 back in bonus bets if you place that first wager of 10 or more. Bally Bet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Time to go around the league, presented by Leaf Filter, the official gutter guard of your Cleveland Browns. The NFL announced the virtual measurement technology will be used for first downs this season. The league has partnered with Sony's Hawkeye technology to become the new primary method for measuring the first down marker. Same technology already in place for tennis Grand Slam events, professional
it's beautiful,
soccer matches. The chain gang will remain on the sideline in a secondary capacity.
Backup.
Yeah, the initial ball placement will still remain in the hands of the on-field officials, but when the ball is spotted, replay assist will confirm the accuracy of the spot. The fully operational process takes 30 seconds, saving about 40 seconds compared to the manual chain measurement per the league release. This is a game changer for sure. Yeah, it's been crazy to me that it's two guys with a hunk of chain running out, trying to be straight, that it's a referee saying, yeah, this is where the ball is going to be. So now there's going to be chips in the ball. Is that how it's going to work?
Apparently so. I don't understand how it's going to know like where it is in the ball.
Yeah, you'd almost have to have it on both ends and on the circumference too, right?
Right, because it's an
Could be in any
odd-shaped ball. With a tennis
sure.
ball, you can have the chip potentially, I guess, right in the middle and know that there's a certain
Distance.
radius to any point of the ball.
Yeah.
Not here.
No.
So it's interesting.
Just be quick with the spot is all I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
just have somebody upstairs saying it's at the 31.5.
Yep.
It's boom. Like in the ear, that's where it goes. I don't want to see any monkeying around like trying to, oh no, we got to move it 6 inches and looking at screens. Like none of that. Like,
Just get it.
it quick. The technology is there.
Agreed.
But it's always been absurd when you're at NFL games. You're like, wait, you're spotting it there and that's final?
Well, the other thing, the thing that it will help is there is an inherent, because you talk about with the chain gang guys, yes, they run in, but they have a thing on the chain. Mm-hmm. So when they set it, there's a little thing in the middle that they clip on like whatever full straight yard marker, so whether the 5 or the 10 is there, so that when they go out, those are in the right spot. The crazy part is that you have officials who run in and run like this.
Yeah.
And then they spot the ball when they really, a straight line would have run them to there. Mm-hmm. That's where you're going to get some of that variance eliminated. You're also going to hopefully get some, clarity on, you go back to the Buffalo game, on that sneak. Did he get it or not? They should know, hopefully they should know what his, where the ball actually was, because you can't always visually see it. If now with a chip, you don't necessarily need to see it. I mean, I find what they do in tennis incredible. And then you get that graphic and it kicks a little mark on it. Yeah, and it's like, it's beautiful.
I think one of the hardest things in football that we've all just become accustomed to is trying to decide where forward progress stops.
Yes.
Where it starts, but where it stops. It's so difficult. Okay, this was forward progress. Wait a second. He was there for a millisecond and then knocked back 3 yards, but he touched it here. Like, that is such a brutal thing to try to wrap your head around what forward progress is.
Yeah. They should be able to get. That's what I would think.
Yeah, you would think so. There will be 3 games on Christmas in the NFL this year as the partnership with Netflix continues. The first 2 will air on Netflix. The third will be on Prime Video. Christmas is on a Thursday this year. I'm fine with it on Thursday. Great, fine. That's fine. I wish it wasn't Wednesday, Tuesday, all that nonsense.
Yep.
But like Thursday's a natural day to play NFL, and so you'll get 3 games on that day. The Chiefs are reportedly the top choice to face the Chargers in Brazil. They'll likely play on Christmas as well. So is this that?
So the Chiefs have made a request to the league to be the Christmas team every year. They want to be like the Lions and the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. They want to be associated with Christmas.
Who does?
And they have told the league, we want to be on Christmas every day. Every year. I'm sorry, every day. Every day is Christmas.
Boy, that sucks for the people who work in Kansas City, for the Chiefs. Like this wrecks the holiday. It's not like an NBA game.
No.
An NFL game is not an NBA game.
No.
Like you play on an NBA on a Saturday or on Christmas or whatever day that falls on, it's a couple hours.
Are the Chiefs saying that they want to host? Because I'm pretty sure they played in Pittsburgh last year.
I don't think it matters to them. I think they want
should matter.
They want to play on Christmas every year. They want to be known as, like, it become a tradition that they play on Christmas every year.
Huh.
It's really hard to just make tradition out of nothing.
They're certainly trying.
They're trying.
I mean,
It makes sense now that they have
Yeah,
Mahomes,
they can-
but it's like,
they can do whatever they
what
want.
happens when they don't?
yeah. Well, what do you know? Like what the genesis was of Dallas and Detroit on Thanksgiving? Like what made those two cities? How did they get it? Who was
I don't
first?
know, but it's good.
Well, it's really good.
It's good.
It's really good, and it's for them. It's really good because they basically manufacture a mini bye week on the other side of it late in the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, I do not like Christmas football on Tuesday, Wednesday.
Same.
To me, Thursday fine, but Tuesday, Wednesday, leave it alone.
I don't even love Christmas football.
No, I'm with you. I kind of don't either.
I like Christmas.
I like
Christmas.
Christmas being Christmas.
Like Christmas.
Yeah, there was nothing like this year at my in-laws' house trying to set up Netflix at 1 o'clock in the afternoon
But
so
it's also
everybody could
like-
watch
that's-
NFL games. That was my
Christmas,
life on
You're
Christmas.
supposed to
I
get
agree.
kids get gifts. They're supposed to go play with them.
Yeah.
And get families get together and just sit around the table and talk and like. I know
be
that people
great.
say, "Well, that's what Thanksgiving." But Thanksgiving is that, but Thanksgiving also isn't that. Thanksgiving is like a food and sitting around. There's not an exchanging of gifts that
No,
people have
there's
been
not
waiting all
activities.
year. There's not activity. Right. This
No,
is
eat an absurdly overrated bird and on to the next.
it's like an eating and drinking holiday.
That's
and
all it
sitting
is.
around. So having something awesome on TV helps.
Yeah, but
Christmas doesn't need.
need it. It's its own thing.
By the way-
it was nice with the NBA too because like it could kind of be on, but you don't really have to pay that close of
No.
attention. It's not like the NFL where you got to lock in.
You got to lock in. And number one, the background of Christmas, it should be Christmas vacation, it should be Christmas story, it could be out. Like those are things that should be on. You should have a fire, you should have a prime rib. You should be in a dining room with no televisions and everybody's families together and kids are, oh yeah, this is the best. Look what I
Yeah.
got. Oh baby.
Yep, I agree. I think
Yeah.
you have the right read on that.
You guys want to know how that Thanksgiving tradition started for both teams?
Give it to us,
Sure.
Kev.
So, just a quick synopsis. The Lions began playing in 1934. George Richards, the owner at the time, wanted to schedule a game to boost attendance and visibility. Cowboys didn't start playing on Thanksgiving until 1966. Tex Schramm was seeking more national attention for the team.
Tex Schramm, that guy was on
How about
things,
it?
wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
He's the one who. That's the reason they wear those pants. Those color those pants are because they was trying to make them look
Better
silver
on TV.
on TV.
Yeah.
And so that was the color scheme, and they just stuck with them. America's team, the hole in the stadium, so God could watch them. All that's him. It's all him. Smart.
That hole in the stadium caused a lot of problems.
Oh, it was absurd. Remember the
And
Leon Lett game when it kind of snowed through
Yes.
there, and it was like, what is going on?
I don't
It's
know. In my
wild.
mind, though, like an omniscient being is going to be able to see all
right through.
Yeah, don't need a hole in the roof.
Yeah. I wonder how they came up. I wonder why they did that.
Yeah, it can't be that.
What's
that
the real
cannot
truth
be-
on
yeah,
that?
yeah.
Like, was it because they ran out of money or it got too difficult, or was it that could not have been the original design? Like, we're just gonna have a random hole in the
I
middle.
wonder if they
because
did
it's
not.
domed all the way over.
My guess is that they structurally they weren't going to be able to support that middle part for whatever. Like maybe once
I
they
would
got
agree.
up there, that it was oops. So
Oh,
now
boy,
we're going to
we
build
can't.
like a square that we can keep, fortified. I don't see why you couldn't then just pull tarp over that square.
Right. It's
So maybe
wild.
that maybe
why was there?
maybe my theory makes no sense.
Yeah. John Gruden's quarterback class is back. Will Howard on April 7th, Riley Leonard on the 9th, Seth Hannigan on the 14th, Kyle McCord the 16th, Quinn Ewers the 21st, Jackson Dart the 23rd. Will this be on Barstool, I believe? It's got to be. Or will it be on Netflix, or where will it be?
Barstool.
I got to tell you something.
Hey, this is a really, really great idea.
It is a great idea. Where's Cam Ward? Where's Shedeur Sanders?
Neither one of the top
Yeah.
two. I don't know. Did they not agree to come
Where's
on?
Tyler Shuck even?
Yeah.
Where's Milrow?
Not.
You're talking 4 of the top 5 are not on this list. Now, I have heard that some people are saying Prisco, our good pal, said that he's at the league meetings. What he
boy.
came away with is that the league likes Kyle McCord a lot better than it likes than the perception of him, that he could be somebody who goes much earlier than people think.
J-Mac, Pete Prisco, the only thing that was missing between you two from yesterday and him is that he wasn't in that seat. He was just on the hotline getting
That was a quicker trial than
And
the
we were.
trial
I
of Pedro.
think this was much kinder,
much more
than-
love
Yeah, for
to Dr. J, too.
Yeah.
Much more. Yeah. Prisco was skewered.
Yeah, he was scared.
Roger Goodell says the league will have a better understanding whether players will be able to participate in the flag football in the upcoming Summer Olympics sometimes in the next 60 days. How are we going to do this?
No, sorry.
No, it's silly. It's just absurd. I don't understand how flag football is an Olympic sport.
I don't understand how it is either.
Like, we'll
And
win by what's the point?
If you tear your ACL as
Screwing
an NFL
around.
player playing flag football at the Olympics,
And like, how many U.S. teams can we have? 100?
100.
What is the number of U.S. teams that we could put out before a non-U.S. team would be favored against a U.S. team?
1,000.
I think you might be right. Like, what would be?
1,000.
Is there a quarterback in the NFL who is from another land that I'm not thinking of? Now, there might be some who claim like Kyrie Irving claimed like Australian because his dad played professionally in Australia or whatever,
Yeah.
but like,
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Is there? So you have 30. So we at least would have 32 plus. Who is a non-American college quarterback? There's got to be a Canadian
like
somewhere,
a guy
but
for example, Jalen Milroe in flag football is going to be
nuts.
electric. What about the
Taylor-
guy that said that he's
I'm
better
going to tell you
than
this: is it possible that you could quarterback the Croatian team?
I don't know.
Could Croatia have possibly produced a better quarterback than you?
Probably.
Name him.
Goran Ivanisevic. I bet he could sling it.
You think has he
He
played
could sling
football?
it. I don't know, but I'm 46. There's got to be somebody
Still,
there. They
there's
have
some
good
pep in
athletes.
that
And
arm.
they have the good soccer players, so they're going to have some
The
fast.
training starts
guys.
Luka
tomorrow.
Modric?
Yeah, Luka Modric. Yeah,
Get
exactly.
have Luka see if he can sling it.
Yeah.
Can you throw it? He's like 5'8".
Kukoc.
Has he thrown a football?
No, but he could be a receiver.
You make fun of the other sports.
Yeah,
What are we trotting out a
That's what I'm
45 and
saying,
over
like,
team?
who the hell?
yeah, maybe.
Some of them are in their 50s.
Dino Raja.
Who the hell is fielding teams for
You
this
said
thing?
Dino Raja, and the other three people in this room were like, who?
Oh, they have no point. Hey, watch Once Brothers. Those kids need to watch Once Brothers, the 30 for 30.
There he is. I was like, other three. I was like, who else is in there? I didn't.
Yeah,
I
the
couldn't
great
see.
Connor with a K.
I mean,
We're making sure that everything's online here, given the weather that's come through.
All right, very good. Finally, Calais Campbell is returning to the Cardinals for his 18th NFL season. He is 38.
love
That's
it.
wild.
All right, are we gonna? Or when are we getting into Val Kilmer? Because I,
I
want
think
to
it's
do a
coming.
teaser.
It could be
Okay,
coming
here
up
we go.
next.
Yeah, we'll
Here's a
stack
teaser
here
quote
to
for
kick
you.
off the 2 o'clock hour. We will do.
Val Kilmer was asked, "What was your experience like working on Heat?" Val Kilmer's answer, and I quote, "Well, imagine being able to say Al and Bob for the rest of your life. Not many people can do that. I've seen Bob giggling like a schoolgirl in a van in the middle of the night because we have to be quiet because they are filming outside. I've been hugged by Pacino in the middle of downtown LA like he was my older brother. I've shot live rounds from a high-powered assault weapon over Bob's head while rehearsing lines from our film. I got to kiss Ashley Judd. I sometimes lived at Michael Mann's house. I'm in one of the greatest cop and robbers films in film history, has to be in the top 20. I'm on the poster, for goodness sake. What an honor. Priceless experience, watching all the actors do their thing. We all work hard, but when you're with the icons, you really get squared away. Loved every minute of it."
If you haven't seen it, kids, and it's not on much, like you have to seek it out.
Oh, that was one of
I
my
think
very
it's
first
on-
Columbia House purchases.
Oh,
my
yeah, back on
initial
the DVD.
12 for $1.
It's streaming somewhere. I don't know if it's on Max or Paramount or Netflix. It's streaming somewhere.
I'll find it.
Yeah, it is unbelievable. So we will have some fun with that. Second hour of the program coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of Cleveland Browns on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, let's do Choose Your Own Adventure. Do you want to do the Kilmer movies now? Do you want to do, or do we want to do Stefanski with Kevin Clark for a little bit and then build to Kilmer movies homage? What are your thoughts?
You can do that. That's
what is
fine.
your guys?
Let's-
What are your thoughts on this?
I follow you, brother.
You're the franchise. You're the Chuck Barkley. Come
Right
on.
now, I'm
just
saying,
Ernie.
You passed it to the mailman, and he's like, "But you're wide open there, John. Why don't you have this
Why
shot?"
don't you have this one? Why don't we do Kevin first? We'll do Kevin with Kevin on the This Is Football podcast, and then we'll have some fun with the homage to the late great Val Kilmer and his movies coming up shortly. There's several ways we can do the Kilmer thing. As just a little bit of teaser to that, you could do it as movies ranked that he's in. You could do it as his performances ranked in movies, or you could do it the character that he played and how favorably you view them. So we'll have to make a decision on what one of those three silos we want to put it in.
So I want to do Mount
So you have
Rushmore
to think
of like,
about it and decide, or you can answer right now.
I was going to do Kilmer, the Mount Rushmore Val Kilmer movies, but that's going to be based on the character he played, not necessarily the overall quality of the film.
Okay. All right. So you have that to look forward to, which is nice. Right now, let's get to Coach Stefanski, who's on Kevin Clark's This Is Football podcast. Kevin Clark, pretty smart. Turns out if you go to league meetings, you can get one-on-ones
With anybody.
With anybody. So he's had the whole league on with him this week, including Coach Stefanski. So this was a direct question from Kevin Clark to Stefanski. What are we going to have at quarterback from the This Is Football podcast?
We're going to have players that we're excited about. And you know, we look at this thing, it's not yet April.
Yeah.
So we have to get through free agency, have to get through this draft, and then see what the makeup looks like. I will say this, I'm excited about Kenny Pickett. Kenny's a guy that we did a lot of work on a few years back. You know, all these careers don't always just go through on a straight line. So he's a guy that we're excited about having, and we'll see how the rest of it shakes out.
So that's the Kenny Pickett, Sam Darnold thing, right, that we talked about. That is this the scenario where he blossoms into that? Also good to see Kevin gave Kevin kind of a similar answer sometimes he gives us, which
That
is
was
just
very
on brand right
Yep.
there. Here is Coach Stefanski on what the NFL gets wrong with quarterbacks and how they can improve it, courtesy of the This Is Football podcast.
Yeah, especially with guys coming out of college, I think the thing that matters is circumstance matters and environment matters. And there are some environments that are just a challenge for young quarterbacks, and sometimes maybe they play a little too soon or they should have sat for a little bit, maybe. So I think it varies, but you think about all these evaluations that we're doing on these quarterbacks, you're not wrong, but you also have to project them into the environment that they're going into the scheme that they're playing in, into the teammates that they're going to have. What defense are they going to have? So a lot of that goes into the success, you know, who gets the win-loss record attached to their name, the head coach and the quarterback, in a team game. Now, I don't mind it because that's part of the gig, but to put so much of it on the quarterback, I think can be misguided at times.
Yeah, one thing that would be interesting, and I haven't heard Kevin ask this, or maybe I've just missed it. What, if anything, did he learn about handling Baker in year 3? That was his third year, but he was still a very young quarterback. Like, what, if anything, could you take from that into this new situation you're going to be in, whatever it may be? And it may just be Kenny Pickett, who's in year 4?
3.
No, he's played 3.
4. Played 3, 4. Yeah.
4. Yeah.
Right.
So a similar spot in terms of when he gets Pickett to when he got Bake. Both first-round picks. Bake was number 1 overall. But I wonder what, if anything, he could take from that experience. Here's Coach Stefanski on a Browns player that flies under the radar.
Jerry Jeudy, has he broken onto the scene? Jerry's a guy that by the end of last year, he was winning one-on-ones versus really good corners. He was making plays across the field explosively. So Jerry's a guy, I hope he's not a secret anymore, but he's a guy that we're excited about.
All right, this is a little bit of a longer exchange. Kevin Clark, one of the more entertaining, engaging interviews you're going to find. This was rapid fire with Kevin Clark and Coach Stefanski from the This Is Football podcast.
All right, rapid fire.
Got you guys down.
Badasses, most badass person you've ever been around in football. That could be when you're an assistant. That could be when you're at Penn. Doesn't matter. It could be someone at the Browns. Obviously, we know what that is. The way I define it when people ask me something, say, alien comes down from space, says, take me to the football player. Take me to the guy who's playing hurt, who's doing whatever it takes to throw the block, whatever. Who are we going with, Kevin Stefanski?
I'll go back to my roots as a safety, and I'll go Harrison Smith. I was around Harry at the Vikings.
That was Kevin
for a bunch of
O'Connell's
years. Was it?
yesterday.
Damn, KOC. Harry's a guy that he's so cool.
Yeah.
Like everything about him is cool. He'll knock the out of you. Can I curse?
Yeah. We believe it. We believe it.
And then he's just smart, good guy, still doing it at a high level, which is unbelievable. I played the position, so somebody that I admire.
How good were you?
Not good.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's make sure we're clear about that.
Yes.
Harry, unbelievable. Ring of Honor guy. Kevin Stefanski barely cracked the field.
Ivy League safety.
That's right.
Did like Harvard have you in hell, that kind of thing? Were they
Fitzy.
Fitzy, okay.
Fitzy was, and this is hard to believe, but like Fitzy was Mike Vick in the Ivy League. You could not get him on the ground. He's running around making throws. You couldn't tackle him. We got him a few times, but Fitzy was a really good player.
Wow. How many times did you go against him?
Quite a bit, yeah.
Wow.
Back then, it was really us and Harvard back then in the Ivies, and Fitzy was awesome.
Wow. All right, we do something called one rep back. You get to take any play call from your career back, do it over, do it different, however you want to take it. What are we getting back?
Yeah, there's an easy one for me. First game as a head coach, we're at Baltimore. Got absolutely throttled, thanks Coach Harbs. And I don't know if it was the first punt, but it was in the first quarter. We faked a punt. Didn't get it. That's the last punt that we faked in my career.
That's it, no more.
That said, hey, we might get into it this season, maybe. Coaches be ready, but
establish the fake with this clip right now.
That's right. Yeah.
Hey, all the special teams coaches.
We're playing the long game here.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about it. They're sitting back watching this going, oh, this is fine. He's
you
not
never
gonna
know.
fake
But
any
that
punts.
was a tough feeling in the first game. Thought something was there, and it was not.
We can have fun with this one. We're not. We call it rock bottom theater. Was there a moment in your coaching career, we're talking, it's cold, you're losing 42-0, again, it could be Penn, whatever. Give me the worst game you've ever been a part of at any level.
Well, you always think about the losses.
Yes.
The losses hang with you. Probably the easy one for me, again, going back to Vikings tenure, is our missed field goal versus Seattle, outdoors, -6 degrees.
Gopher Stadium.
Yeah, Bud Grant comes out midfield before the game with a short sleeve polo. -6 is cold.
Yep.
And we're hanging right there, and we didn't get it done at the end, and that one stays with you. I could go to the 2009 NFC Championship game. That one was hard.
It's tough.
There's losses now. Part of this is that's the beauty of sport.
Yeah.
You're going to be in the arena. You're going to get your fair share of wins, but you're going to get your fair share of losses as well.
Give me something underrated about the city of Cleveland that you learned since being coach.
Food.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some outstanding food. Pizza's really, really good. I have some spots that I can hit you offline. But we love getting around town because there's some good food.
You're a Pearl Jam fan. You've been to how many shows have you been to?
I don't know the number.
A lot.
Oh, yeah.
Same with me. It would take me a while to go, all right, New York.
Haven't
here,
counted.
blah, blah, blah. Give me a Pearl Jam take that you think makes you like a bona fide 10 club member where you're just like, all right, this is my, if you're at a 10 club meeting, that's what the fan club is called, 10 club. We're all proud members here.
I am.
We're before a show and we're talking PJ. Yeah. What are we talking about? What are you bringing out?
Well, I will say this. I love their early stuff. I love their recent stuff. For me, it's kind of when you were, I think it goes back to when maybe you were in high school when you first discovered your band. So for me, my favorite album is No Code. And I don't know if that's popular or not popular, but I gravitate towards the music that you really that you grew up on. I remember the early stuff, but No Code was the first album for me.
I completely agree with you. So when I was at The Ringer, Sean Fennessy still is one of the guys who was running it. He has a Hall of Fame vote, a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame vote. So he sends me a photo of him voting for Pearl Jam. And he knows I like the band, whatever. I said to him, and he told me to calm down. He's like, we need to hose you down, bud. I said, Pearl Jam was like Tom Brady. They had almost 3 distinct Hall of Fame careers. Yeah. You could just take early Brady and late Brady. They look like different guys. That's Pearl Jam to me. It's like you can just take, if you just split them up, they still make the Hall of Fame in a bunch of different ways. That is a testament to how good they are, is they reinvented themselves and they were still Hall of Fame caliber.
Couldn't agree more. No Code would be the year that Randy Moss got there to New England.
Yes, 100%.
And they just redefined the idea of a deep ball.
Yep, they were first team ever to run majority shotgun. I don't know what the No Code analogy is, but
we'll find one.
We'll find one. We'll be there. All right, Kevin Stefanski, thanks so much, buddy.
Thanks, Kevin.
I did not know that about Coach, that the Pearl Jam super fandom.
No.
They were mammoth in my youth. So Yeah, I did not know that. That was good. Good job out of the
All
other
right,
Kev.
so
then.
what were like the three? I'll live to three. If you want to go four, you can. 3 or 4. Like when you think of, and band can mean anything. Group, artist, individual of like your youth, your
Guns N' Roses,
or your teenage years or whatever. Yeah.
Guns N' Roses, Pearl Jam. I don't want to. I don't want to just name like one, but like Death Row, Dre, Snoop, that whole.
Well,
thing.
that's my whole. Yeah, that's my.
So that would be like one.
That's the summation of my answer.
Would be those 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is-
So yeah.
I
So,
would
and
maybe-
then Dave
and I-
Matthews Band would be the 3rd. Would be the 4th. So like
I did like Nirvana.
I was more Pearl Jam than Nirvana.
I did like
yeah.
Nirvana.
So yours would be the
Mine would have been just Dr. Dre, Snoop.
yeah.
I mean, that was like, and then I obviously got into NWA, which was a little older. Eazy-E,
yeah.
Ice Cube. Oh yeah, like easy.
I liked all of those. I would add in Green Day and Beastie Boys.
I was not a huge
Beastie
Beastie
Boys,
Boys
East
guy.
Coast, same.
I love the Beastie
A buddy of mine just loved the Beastie
I
Boys.
like the Beastie
I do
Boys.
too. That just wasn't.
That
It wasn't
my,
for me. Green Day was massive because wasn't Dookie when we were like right towards the end of high school
Yes.
or beginning of college? Like that was a massive.
I would say
massive album.
if I was driving around in my car when I had the ability to play CDs in a 6-disc
Get a little
Oh, a
Columbia
changer.
House action.
a
There
CD
you go.
changer for the kids
12
out
for a
there.
Might
buck.
still owe money for those.
Oh yeah, it would have been Dre, Snoop, Eazy-E, Ice Cube, NWA, Cypress Hill,
Cypress Hill was nice.
Digital Underground,
Okay, I remember them, but not they were
Humpty Dance, and then they had some Freaks of the Industry. That song was electric. The Menace to Society soundtrack.
Yep.
So a little MC8 would have been in that group there. That was pretty much.
Let me give you another one.
That was
that
pretty
was,
much
The
it. But then I
J-Man
also
says
like
Tupac was a what was he? Backup dancer for Digital Underground.
really.
There you go.
Yeah. And then I because of my dad, I liked the Doors. I liked Jimi Hendrix. I liked the Animals.
Was he a Zeppelin guy? Pedro? No Zeppelin, no Floyd.
No,
That was me.
Doors,
You were that.
Floyd
Janis
Zeppelin.
Joplin,
Yeah.
Jefferson Starship, Jefferson Airplane,
Red Hot Chili Peppers were
Red Hot Chili
in
Peppers
the mix for me for sure at that
Yep,
time.
Yes, they were.
High school, absolutely.
Under the Bridge and
The Offspring.
Yeah,
and
so
then
that would have been-
Californication
no.
in college was
Californication
unbelievable.
College, yeah. So that was the summer that I was at Dartmouth, Californication. Which
That's
was a fun memory.
that whole thing bangs. That whole
Yes.
thing.
So Red Hot Chili Peppers. Once I went to visit Zago, and he had there was a family friend that he golfed a lot with, the Schraders, and I wore a Red Hot Chili Peppers, and it was. Can you say SE?
What's
that
wrong?
Word? Can you say that word on the radio? Can we say that?
The name of the album?
Yeah. Blood,
Sugar, Sex Magic? Yeah, of
okay, so I
course,
can say
yeah,
okay, yeah.
yeah.
So Blood Sugar Sex Magic. So I had that
Yeah.
T-shirt with the logo, which is kind of like Native American, Aztecian, I would say.
Yeah.
And I remember I wore it, and I took their youngest to the hoops court and blasted him. And apparently it was like this big hyped up thing. Zago knew I was going to smoke this guy, and Mike was talking all kinds of smack. I was a good ball. I was a good hooper. So I took this kid and smoked him. And then we came back to their house, and I was in my Chili Peppers T-shirt, and the mom was like, "That's the devil's
Oh,
music."
gosh.
Yeah, she hit me with the devil's music.
Oh
And
my
I'm like-
God. The Chili Peppers?
I'm like, they're just under a bridge downtown.
Just chilling,
They're
man.
trying to be better. They were struggling under that bridge, to be honest with
That's
you.
all they were doing.
Yeah, now they're just trying to get their stuff together.
Give it away? I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
What I got, you got to give it to your mama.
So good.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Anthony-
So Chili Peppers would have made it
Peppers would have been on there
for
too.
sure.
Yeah.
But it was really like
you know what's cool about
Dre,
all of that?
Snoop, Easy, Ice Cube.
I
was-
know I've said this before, and I'm sure it's the same with you and your kids. I can play anything from this group, and it all still bangs. And the
Totally.
kids have it. It's timeless.
Totally.
To them, it could be from 2 weeks ago. They cannot tell the difference.
oh man,
They cannot.
Doggy Dog World on Snoop's debut album.
Oh yeah,
just what a absolute
yeah.
song.
Very good.
I mean, you basically got to roll from '93 through 2001 with just that kind of core right there, and you had original Chronic 2001, which was great. Snoop in there. You
Yep.
had Eazy-E, who was Easy
Dre
had some
and Pac.
bangers.
I mean, the
Yeah.
Pac double album's unbelievable. And then
Yes, but I wasn't as big on Tupac. Well, when you got to like was the California Love.
California
that
Love.
was
I mean, that was
big time.
That's the most gangster. And I've been at the original Orange Bowl when the U ran out to the Fog, to Welcome to the Jungle, and all of that. The San Francisco 49ers running out to California Love at the Super Bowl in New Orleans. Nuts. Nuts to run out to that.
we
That
should've
was
won.
awesome. Absolutely awesome. All right, we've got a Daniel Jeremiah mock draft to take a look at. We also have Val Kilmer, an homage, our favorite performances, or however we're going to decide to delineate from that. We will do that coming up as well. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, presented by Bally Bet, official sports betting partner of Cleveland Browns on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Howard Hanna, official real estate provider, your Cleveland Browns exclusive buyer agent, is there to help you navigate the field, save time and money, and score that winning touchdown. A new home, win big with the leader in real estate. Visit howardhanna.com/go Browns today. We're going to have a little fun now. Pay homage to the great Val Kilmer, who passed away yesterday at the age of 65. And as we talked about earlier in the show, had a run from 85-6 through 97 that you could put up with a lot of them. It's a really, really good run.
I don't think we mentioned it, and maybe if we did, I apologize, but he was Batman.
He was Batman. And I think he did pretty good.
He was pretty good Batman.
He's pretty good Batman. I think he probably could have done it again. I think instead of doing the one that Clooney did, he did Ghost in the Darkness, which is a really good movie. Him and Douglas in Africa.
That is awesome when they go hunting
job,
for
Kev.
the lions.
Well, isn't that based on a true story, too,
Yes.
of lions that got a thirst for human blood?
Yes.
Yes.
Isn't that the deal?
And they became the hunters.
They became the hunters. Yeah.
Those lions, I think, are in one of the national museums.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a really good movie. All right, so how do you want to do this? We had 3. You want to do this
So it turns out I have 5.
favorite Kilmer performances, or do you want to do favorite movies he was in or favorite characters he portrayed in movies? Or are you going to try and do all at once?
I'm going to try to do all at once, but
Okay.
and then I have 5. I have 5 that are non-negotiables for me.
Yep. All right. I think I know how to do this. I think I'm going to do.
I think we're
while
gonna-
while you guys are working on
I think we're going to
I'm
get to
gonna-
the same 5 is my guess.
Well, we're going to have one different because I don't have the relationship to the Doors that you do.
Oh man.
So
I actually
my-
have 6.
the commissioner of my fine
6.
golf league
Yes.
and a fine human, Christian Trimble, confirmed it. The lions are in the Chicago Natural History Museum.
Oh, they got
Yeah,
the actual
they're-
ones that were like
yeah.
the man hunting. Yeah.
While you guys are working on this, some of
I'm
the
ready.
other acclaimed things that Val Kilmer did on TV, he was part of the ABC After School Special in 1985.
Oh wow.
He did Saturday Night Live in 2000. He was on Entourage. He was the Sherpa in 2004.
Oh my gosh.
In 2008 and 2009, I don't know where, maybe it was the remade version, I'm assuming. Knight Rider, he was Kit.
He did the voice?
Yes,
Wow.
Wow.
he did the voice. He was in Psych. I saw someone tweet that at us earlier.
I didn't realize he was in Kill the Irishman, the movie about the Cleveland.
I didn't either.
What's that guy's name? The Irish, Danny. Come on.
I don't
Oh,
remember
my
off the
God.
top of my head. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he's in that
Danny
one.
Green?
Danny Green. Good job, Eddie. Yeah, Danny Green. Ray
RJ.
Stevenson was.
He
the,
did 6 different theatrical works. And then in 2011, he was the voice of Walker Sloan in Spider-Man Edge of Time, the video game.
Wow. All right, I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready.
Are
for
we
this.
going 5-1? Or 1-5?
Yeah, I think I think you go 5-1.
Or do you have others?
I have 6. Got to go 6.
You went
course you
6.
do.
So mine is going to be more like. So let me ask you this as just a starting off point. Mm-hmm. Because Heat is such an ensemble movie. Yes, he has a substantial,
He's the third lead
but
in
he's
Heat.
yeah.
I think is that fair?
Yeah. Whereas I think in Tombstone, even though he's probably, I don't know if he was supposed to be, but
right.
if he feels to me like
This is what
Higher.
This is what I would say. I would say that Tombstone is a Val Kilmer movie.
yes,
I also feel like another Val Kilmer movie would be Willow is a
Yep.
Val Kilmer movie.
Yes.
I
I
think
mean-
The Doors is a Val Kilmer movie.
yes,
I don't think Top Gun is a Val Kilmer
no, but
movie.
he steals it.
He does, but it
Not
doesn't.
from Cruise.
No, but like he's. So I think that's the thing that's a little tricky is that part of it. So look, Heat's on my list. It's,
Of course.
it's on it. So,
So I'm gonna do it based on like him in the movie more so than my favorite movies for Val Kilmer rather than my favorite because Top Gun would be the number one. But it's,
Yeah,
I
but
would
it's
call
not-
that a Val Kilmer.
I agree.
Vehicle.
I see where you're at.
so
Yeah,
I'm gonna put Top Gun at 6.
Okay. So number 6 for me, this is one that like I don't know how I remember going to it in the theater.
Okay.
And then I remember watching it a lot and really enjoying it. I have no idea if it holds up, but The Saint. I loved him in The Saint. Now I don't.
Saint.
He was. It was based on a comic book. Elizabeth
1997.
Shue's in it.
Yeah.
There's
Simon Templar.
Simon, yeah, and there's a Russian gangster named I think Tretiak or something like that who's like the big bad, but they're dealing with cold fusion. I don't even remember all of it, but I remember seeing it a bunch, and it felt like it was like one of those things that was going to launch like a franchise for him, and he's really fun in it. So I'm going to go The Saint at number 6.
Okay.
Number 5.
Number 5.
So because of what we talked about,
Number 5.
I'm going to put Heat here, and I
My
just
bad,
think
guys.
that Heat is a little bit more of a Val Kilmer vehicle than Top Gun was, but these are the two. I think it's pretty safe to say these would be my two just like favorite movies, period, of
His,
that he's in.
yeah,
But I'm keeping them below because they're not like necessarily his vehicle.
I'm going to go The Ghost in the Darkness at 5.
Wow.
Is going to be number 5 for me. I think it's awesome. Liked it a lot.
I got to watch that.
It's really
It's
good. It's awesome.
Really, really
Yeah.
good.
Douglas is great in it too. Both like peak of their powers.
All right. Gosh, now it's impossible to me because I love all these movies. I'm going to go Willow at number 4.
Mad Mardigan.
Mad Mardigan.
Mardigan, so
Number
good.
4.
So good.
Heck.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
And well, that ends up being his wife, the female lead in that. He ends up marrying
yes.
in that.
And
Yeah.
Warwick Davis is so good. That's a great movie.
That is great.
Watch that one with the kids. Have you watched that with the kids yet?
I didn't know if the littles could handle it because it's pretty dark.
The bad guys are
The
really
bad
Bad
guys,
guys
are
are bad.
really bad
Yeah.
in that. But I guess I handled it as a kid, so maybe they could too. I'm going to go number 4 for me is going to be Heat. Heat is number 4
Okay.
for me. And I think Heat is so good.
Yes.
top
Yes.
to bottom.
There's no holes.
Yes.
There's none. The action is the juice. Number 3 for you. Go ahead, sir. Number 3.
Number 3.
I'm going to go Tombstone. And Tombstone, Heat, and Top Gun are by far my 3 favorite movies of this group. But I'm like focusing, and he was sensational in this. And you're going to laugh at one of the ones I put ahead of it, but I'm fine with it.
all
But
right.
Tombstone, he's unbelievable. Great movie. I've been there, been to Tombstone.
How far is it from like the Valley of the Sun?
I don't think it's so.
Is it closer to
I've gone
Tucson or
from- I've
Tucson,
gone
or is
from
it closer to
Tucson.
Arizona, Phoenix?
I've gone. I'll see. I'm going to look right now. But I've gone from Tucson.
And I think I had a buddy of mine who just was there for their spring break like 2 weeks ago, and it looks like it all, like they have like the old West Town and all of it's still there.
Yeah. It's very much an awesome
Like tourist
tourist.
thing.
Yeah. So Tombstone from Tucson is it's an hour. That's what I thought.
Is it
It's just
towards
an hour.
Phoenix?
So it is. No, it is further southeast.
Oh,
it's down
to-
by Nogales.
So you got to go through Tucson to get there. Okay.
Yeah, so we went from.
So
yeah,
you would do a
definitely
little
from
maybe
Tucson.
maybe for future reference, you do a couple of days in the Valley of the Sun, a couple at Dove Mountain, and then you go down.
Yep.
All right. Number 3 for me is Willow. Loved
Great
Willow.
movie.
Saw it 1,000 times as a kid. The villains are dark. He's so much fun.
But
So
you
good.
saw it as a kid, so I feel like you might be all right.
Yeah, you could watch. They could. Yeah.
When did it
definitely.
drop?
My kids have watched it for sure, and they watched it. That was years ago, and they loved it.
Okay. All right. Bootsy could handle it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Number 2. Number 2 for you.
Number 2.
Willow came out in 1988, so we would have been like 11.
Yeah. So that's okay. So
Yeah.
that's fine. Yeah.
If
that's fine.
you
And
don't,
my brothers both saw it, and they're both younger, so that's fine.
if you don't remember this movie, well, if you have not seen it in a long time, watch it. It's awesome. Not only do you get, I think, a peak Val Kilmer performance.
Okay.
The main nerd kid is not great, but you also get Laszlo, who is Uncle Rico, who is John Grease Greg in
Greg
White
Gary.
Lotus right
Greg
now.
Gary, yeah.
And Laszlo lives in like Val Kilmer's closet. It's an unbelievable movie. The big kind of bad, even though he's not really the big bad in it, is William Atherton, who is in Ghostbusters, the guy who's like the police chief, the
Oh,
redhead
yeah,
guy that
the
they.
jerk.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a great jerk.
And he is in this as well. He's fantastic in it. It is a great, great movie. Val Kilmer is so good in this movie. It's perfect. He's perfect. It's great. That's my number 2.
You didn't give the title for the folks.
Real genius.
Real Genius, number 2.
Real Genius, number 2.
Number 2. Number 2 for me is Top Gun.
Okay.
10 minutes, but God, what a 10 minutes.
Ah, unreal.
Everything he does is a banger. When he props up against the locker,
He's unbelievable.
he's unreal in it. It's just awesome.
Does
All
he
right.
give him one of these
Yeah.
when he does that? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's such a power move. By the way, in Real Genius, the guy who plays Kent is Kent, who is like the nerd opposite him, who's like kind of the foil. Guy's great.
Number
Real
1.
Genius. Have you watched that recently?
Not in a long time. Not since I was a kid.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. When's the last time you saw it, do you think?
Probably within the last 5 years. That's one. If I ever see it,
I'm in.
I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Number 1.
Number 1,
Number 1.
The Doors.
The Doors.
He is, I believe, and I don't want to get into hyperbole because I don't think it is hyperbole. I believe that this is one of the greatest acting performances in human history. That's what I believe.
I've seen it once. Your take on this makes me think I need to revisit it. I remember seeing it once in high school, but I don't remember,
Dude.
if I was not so into connected to the Doors or whatever it was.
So I was, and he is Jim Morrison.
Yeah.
It's nuts how good he is. Oliver Stone movie. You get Kevin Dillon, Meg Ryan, Kyle MacLachlan, Frank Whaley. A lot of people you'll recognize in it.
A lot of that
Michael
guys.
Madsen's in it. Crispin Glover. It is so good. He is so good, and it's part of it's good, part of it is bad. Part of it's sad because there is obviously a downfall and death, and it is unbelievable. He kills it. Like, you see some of the pictures they show him next to the pictures of
Yeah.
him.
It looks exactly the same.
He's unbelievable. It's a masterpiece. I really think it is a masterpiece.
My number 1 is Tombstone. It's on a short list of movies I've seen the most in my life. And I think if you were to try to explain to people that a Western based on the OK Corral showdown and the fallout from it became one of the 3 or 4 most quoted movies of my late high school, college years, the amount of people, I'm your Huckleberry, you're a daisy if you do, like all that stuff, it's all him. It was such an overwhelming powerhouse performance that I don't think he certainly would have been up for probably Best Supporting Actor. And it's Kurt Russell's passion project. Like, he basically took it over and got it done. Kilmer's out of his mind in it. He's perfect in it.
Yeah.
I'm going to revisit The Doors because of your strong take on it. I haven't seen it in a very, very long time. All right, good stuff there. Rest in peace to one of the all-time
Tombstone
greats.
win stuff?
It didn't. No, it did
But
not.
Unforgiven, which is not Tombstone, but it was
Around that same genre.
won
It did.
everything.
I think that was a year before, maybe, but yeah,
Not a
it did.
single nomination.
No, and it's unbelievable. We'll play a little higher, lower coming up next. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. For the first time ever, witness Inter Miami take on MLS Cup champion Columbus Crew at Huntington Bank Field. It's April 19th. Secure your spot to see some of MLS's biggest stars. Visit huntingtonbankfield.com/crew versus Miami to get your tickets today. Boy, I was just thinking about this rain.
This rain
And
is
the-
terrible.
And the turf situation.
Yeah.
You better have a turf field. I mean,
Well, they won't, like Messi ain't playing on turf. He ain't gonna want to do that. I don't know that he's playing.
oh, you're talking about
I'm talking about this game, like the
so
grounds
they
crews had their
actually-
work
Connor
cut out for
was
him, right?
just at
What
the
was he
stadium.
saying? Yeah.
Connor was at the stadium yesterday and today. They rolled the turf out this morning,
Oh,
And
well,
yesterday.
there you go.
but they had to get up. Like they moved everything up. It was like a 4 a.m. install this morning.
I just got 16 cancellations on the app for the kids' sports and
There
stuff.
you go.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I just think we're to the point, honestly, like in Ohio, if you're going to play, and I know this is hard, like not everybody can do this, but like if you want kids to be active and play spring sports in this state, you almost have to have huge swaths of turf
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Like not just at the high school and middle school at the football fields. I'm talking about like giant fields of turf. You don't even have to line them.
Like,
just lay down turf.
Like where we went up in Indy with all
Like
the
that,
with 50 fields of.
You need it because there's just no way you can get anything in. You can't play. You can't do baseball. You can't do in lacrosse. You can usually play unless fields are like underwater, but lightning obviously would cut all of it out. But like if you don't have turf, you have no chance. I mean, look at the rest of this week. It's a whole week of that's cooked. It's absolutely cooked.
Yeah. Temps
So-
in the 30s and 40s.
What?
Oh, yeah. I
What?
mean, it's going to go back up. Like today and tomorrow are okay. It's actually going to get warmer
It
as
supposedly
the day
might
goes
snow
on.
on Monday or Tuesday.
What are you talking about?
This is what Nana says.
Is this real?
That's what Nana says.
So
I think it is
It's
real.
approaching 67 today and then 70 tomorrow. Oh my God. 44, 44, 38 Tuesday,
Told you.
47. Oh God.
Yeah.
And that takes you all the way out to the middle of the. We have a 70 tomorrow, a 60 over the weekend, and then there's not another 60 until like the 16th.
Yeah. Like you said, there's 4 days out of the month that are going to be good.
I think you don't remember it as well because you get lulled by those couple of days that are nice. But
Hey, you think it's.
then you think, oh, April, away we go. No, not.
Can I ask you guys a question?
You
Because
can
this
ask us
happened
anything
while
you
you were gone, and I think while maybe even a little bit when I was gone, but I actually I don't think so. I think they were eliminated by them. G-Man, Gibbe, Dr. J, somebody in there, explain to me the fascination with this manager from McNeese State because I don't get it. Explain
My
it to me
kid
like
said
I'm
that-
dumb.
NBC said that to me too, and I
That
didn't
dude
get
needs
it.
a hater, and I'm ready to step up.
G-Man.
Did you read that same tweet?
G-Man, you always enter situations in a big way.
What's he gonna do in the NBA?
So apparently he's first of all his nickname is Aura. He was wearing a
No wonder my kid knows him.
tracksuit, the custom-made tracksuit. Apparently he's getting NIL deals, which is akin to setting money on fire. And then now it says he's receiving significant interest from NBA franchises to join in some capacity once he graduates. He will interview with at least 5 teams at the scouting combine, discuss organizational roles as a team attendant. Somebody explain, but how did this even become a thing? I don't understand it.
So he leads the team out with this big boom box. Not revolutionary, but
It's
I
been happening
add.
for a long time.
And it's just like people are obsessed with him. He got NIL deals with like Tick Pick, Buffalo Wild Wings. I don't get it. Like,
This is going to go the same way as like the Hawk Tua girl. Like you're going to be,
Yes.
it's like you're there for like burn bright for like a month, and then life comes at you fast,
and then a
they're
crypto
gone.
scam, and then see you later.
Evaporated.
But I don't even get this one. Like, I don't, this, Hawk Tua,
Just
at
blew
least,
up over social media, guys. Like it was just a clip that blew up, and then somehow he got a lot out of it, and he's taking advantage of it.
I mean,
can't-
good for
Kev,
him.
it's like it's
Right? Yeah.
you know what it speaks to though, guys. Like people, the corporate world does not know how to respond or how to get value out of these moments of internet, kind of like going viral, and they don't know what to. So they just throw stuff at it, trying to grab it.
Yep.
And then it's come and it's gone.
Yep.
Yeah. I didn't get that either. There was a talk he was going to go with Will Wade to NC State.
I think that is happening. Yeah.
Good Lord. It's such a one-trick pony. So much more to come. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner, your Cleveland Browns. All right, there you go, kids. That's your first Friday. Operation. Inching closer. Tomorrow we'll do the Daniel Jeremiah, a little higher, lower with the
1 minute.
The prospect rankings and the mock draft and all of those things. You said something earlier. I wrote it down. One of the things this time of year, I think, for folks to remember, you're a fan out there, you're paying attention to all these mock drafts, all this stuff. The hardest thing to try to figure out right now is what you said feels like versus what we know. That is such an incredible line. because these mock drafts sway what you feel like.
Yeah.
But they're largely nonsensical, or what
And they
you
have
feel
to
like is
do
happening
them
in the league, and they got to
every
keep
day.
doing them, and you got to keep doing them.
Yep.
So it leads to just this nonsense. This is going to be a long last month to get to the draft. Let's just say that to say the least.
Yes.
The next level is coming up next. Thanks for listening, buddy. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.